Oh, it's another day here at the Comeback Team Studios, and you're watching another episode of the Interesting Times podcast right here on the Beck Lover podcast, where I cover all the stories, anything that's important. I keep you in the know, my friends. So this way, you don't have to waste your time looking for it. I bring it right to you almost every single day. So make sure you hit that sub button, and let's get down to it. So, there's a lot going on in the world. There wasn't honestly that much interesting stuff that went on today. So I'll cover the few things that I thought were important for you guys and girls to know. Make sure you watch us on Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, or anywhere podcasts are received. I've also been doing a lot of work on X, and I'll give you just a little example of what I do on X, formerly known as Twitter. I have conversations on what is known as Twitter Spaces, now called X Spaces, where we host live chats. And here's a discussion I had last night.
To bring to this world. So you better wake up. I don't give a shit about Democrat, Republican. To me, it's all garbage. And I don't put my hope in just one man, as so many people do. Because this country wasn't formed with one man. It was formed with many men and women who gave their lives throughout history. And the amount of stench and corruption that has seeped into the American society in the West, I don't give a shit even if Donald Trump had 20 years in office. When you have that amount of corruption and every single agency, every single Congress member and parliament member, how can one man fix all of that? Unless there's some type of miracle or something massively drastic, which is yet to be seen. If it happens, cool. It doesn't mean I'm voting for you-know-who. Kamala. I'll sit here and pray and dream and wish, but I know the only chance this country has is because of people like Mace. Because of people like you, my brother, on the other side of the world. People like Alpha Warrior. All of you who speak out, who have taken abuse since 2020, 2019, when I wasn't allowed to walk into a restaurant in New York City unless I showed them my medical records, unless I put a mask over my face, that we've been suppressed by people like Mark Zuckerberg on record. You idiots, he's telling you himself, the government told me to suppress these debates, to not allow public discourse about something that has affected your life, that we know there was funding and labs and things sent across the ocean, and we don't have a right to even ask a question of what happened to my family, where did this virus come from, who funded it, how did it happen? And you were more worried about fighting me, you useful idiot, who was just trying to say, can't we talk about this? Can't we put it on the table? But you say you don't believe in God, a lot of you, but your God is the television. Your God is BBC and Fox News, and it's just the hypocrisy. No critical thinking, and that is why we are where we are, and I have hope because of people like you.
So that is an example of X Spaces. They added music. Someone loved what I said so much. One of the people that was in there, I guess, took the audio because you can snip it. We have live discussions. I'll show you there's some going on right now. So you have like Tim Pool, Alex Jones, Fresh and Fit. They host their stuff on there. And I've been streaming on there also. So make sure you stay tuned and we'll keep it rolling. But I'd love for you to join me on these conversations. You can find my handle on x.com. My handle is the same as my Instagram, BEK Lover NYC. That's Beck Lover NYC for New York City. In any event, please join me on that platform. The man that owns the platform, Elon Musk, who had a lot of money to finance that deal when he purchased it, he unveiled a surprise robo-van at a flashy Tesla event. Says Optimus humanoid robots will cost less than a car. And here's some footage of that.
That'd be sick.
And let's take a look here. Elon Musk unveiled Tesla's long-awaited self-driving taxi at a highly anticipated event in California Thursday night.
Goods transport within a city or transport of up to 20 people at a time. So this is going to... the Robovan is what's going to solve for high density. So if you want to take a sports team somewhere or you're looking to really get the cost of travel down to, 5-10 cents a mile, then you can use the Robovan.
This thing basically looks like an independent. It looks like an independent, basically train car kind of like a futuristic train car. It fits 20 passengers. Musk rode up to the stage in the long-awaited driverless cybercab, revealing a two-seater with no steering wheel, for pedals, hats, slated to be priced at less than $30,000. But a never-before-seen 20-person robo-van also made its debut, along with the newest generation of Tesla's Optimus robots. Dozens of the humanoid robots, including one that served drinks dressed in a cowboy hat and bar apron, and another that played rock, paper, scissors with guests, mingled with guests. So the robot age is pretty much almost here, my friends. Here's some snapshots if you're watching the episode. If you're not, it kind of look like iRobot is what they look like. White and black humanoid robots. Would you purchase one? Basically your own slave? I think it still creeps me the hell out. But it would be nice to have a robot doing all the chores and the laundry and all that bullshit. But what a time to be alive. Here's some images on his X account, Elon Musk.
With arms and legs instead of a robot with wheels. And we've made a lot of progress with Optimus. And as you can see, we started up with someone in a robot suit, sort of down, and then we've progressed dramatically year after year. So if you extrapolate this, you're really going to have something spectacular, something that anyone could own. So you could have your own personal R2-D2 C-3PO. But fundamentally, at scale, the Optimus robot, you should be able to buy an Optimus robot for, I think, probably $20,000 to $30,000 long term. So, and what can it do? It'll basically do anything you want. So it can be a teacher, babysit your kids. It can walk your dog, mow your lawn, get the groceries, just be your friend, serve drinks, whatever you can think of.
It's crazy.
It will do.
Crazy.
And yeah, it's going to be awesome. I think this will be the biggest product ever of any kind. Yeah.
As people cheer their replacements, and I didn't realize I didn't even play the visual on that for you guys, but you heard the audio. And we are cheering on our replacements that will make us obsolete soon. Many of you will lose your jobs because of robots that cost $20,000 or $30,000 when they pay you that, many times over as people in the West get paid. So yeah, we're cheering technology. Looks like we're going to probably need that universal income that they're dying to ram down our throats. What do you think? Are you for these robots coming into the world? Or do you think they will make us obsolete and completely rip the fabric of society? What are your thoughts and feelings on these humanoid robots? The age is upon us, my friends. And I can only imagine what some of you sick bastards might do with these robots. Like, hey, put on a rubber glove and grab that Vaseline and come over here. Like, there's some sick people out there. I didn't say I thought of that, but you did, you filthy animals. In other news, DNA study confirms Christopher Columbus' remains are entombed in Seville, Spain. Scientists have definitely proved identity of remains, with navigators' precise origins to be revealed. Scientists in Spain claim to have solved the two lingering mysteries that cling to Christopher Columbus more than 5 centuries after the explorer died. Are the much-traveled remains buried in a magnificent tomb in Seville Cathedral really his? And was the navigator who changed the course of world history really from Genoa, as history has long claimed, or was he actually Basque, Catalan, Galician, Greek, Jewish, or Portuguese? The answer to the first question is yes. The answer to the second is wait until Saturday. The long-running and often competitive theorizing has not been helped by his corpse's post-human voyages. Although Columbus died in the Spanish city of Valladolid in 1506, he wanted to be buried on the island of Hispaniola, which is today divided into Haiti and the Dominican Republic. His remains were taken there in 1542, moved to Cuba in 1795, and then brought to Seville in 1898 when Spain lost control of Cuba after the Spanish-American War. I don't think a dead body's traveled more than his. On Thursday, after 2 decades of DNA testing and research, the forensic medical expert Jose Antonio Llorente said the incomplete set of remains in Seville Cathedral were indeed those of Columbus. Today, thanks to new technology, the previous partial theory that the remains in Seville are those of Christopher Columbus have been definitely confirmed. And it is Christopher Columbus Day here in America, I believe Monday, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, Siri, when's Christopher Columbus Day? Hey, Siri, when is Christopher Columbus Day? And Siri says it's Columbus Day is on this Monday, October 14th. So, interesting news right before his day where he's celebrated here in America, even though many of us, including myself, do not believe he was the first one here to discover this country. America Vespucci, the Vikings. I even saw some clip. I wish I could pull it up on Instagram. So one lady was claiming Muslims. I don't know. But I definitely don't think he was the first. He's only the first to be made famous. It ain't who gets to market, it's who gets there best. Now, this kind of pisses me off. I saw a video today, and so many of us, we talk about how, we're not going to eat bugs. We heard Klaus Schwab talking about they will eat the bugs. I want to pull up a video on Insta where I posted it on my story. I got to find this guy. Basically proves that we already are eating the bugs. We just don't know about it. The Odd Animal Specimens. Okay, so I'm going to go there. You guys could also check out his handle, Odd Animal Specimens. Here's the video. I'm going to play it for you and for those that are watching. Let me show you how most of you have been eating smashed bugs already and you don't even know it.
It's a dried parasitic insect that you eat every day. Well, how is that possible? Well, watch closely. If I crush a small pile of these insects, scoop them up, and pour them into a vial of warm water, the water turns a deep red. This is used as a red dye under the names cochineal extract, natural red 4, E120, and carmine color. Carmine color is listed in the ingredients of this candy.
Nerds.
So, this candy gets its color from crushed up parasitic insects.
Yummy.
Guess which of these products have parasitic insects in them?
Let me guess. The last one we would think is yogurt. I guarantee you the yogurt has it. All of them have it. Mentos, lipstick,
is a dried
yogurt, and even a fruit cup that we give our kids. Smashed bugs. So for those of you that are against eating the bugs, many of us are already. I've even heard rumors that they put these things in cheeseburgers and all kinds of shit, man. We really need to start Google searching the terms of what we're eating. There's so much weird stuff and poison and metals and all kinds of horrible things in our food. I find it to be repulsive, and most people don't even know what they're consuming. In that red dye that I showed you, cochineal, a red dye from bugs, moves to the lab. Carminic acid is a bright natural coloring. Natural. I love how they go natural. You can find shit in nature too. Does that mean we want to eat it? Seriously. Natural coloring used in some cosmetics and foods. It's traditionally sourced from farming an insect on acres of prickly pears. Yeah, prick. Today, scientists are moving to engineer in microbes. An average trip to the grocery store can yield a cart full of colorful foods. Bright among the rainbows are the reds, Knowledgeable magazine reports. Strawberry licorice and red velvet cake, often their source is a certain small insect. Cochineal bugs, oval-shaped scale insects around 0.2 inches long, are harvested and turned into natural dyes. They have been used to color food, textiles, and cosmetics for centuries. Today, Traditional labor-intensive harvesting methods are under strain due to rising demand, and prices for the natural pigment have increased. So some scientists are exploring genetic engineering to produce carbonic acid in what they hope could be cheaper, faster, and more sustainable. The efforts, though experimental right now, could also appease those who want non-animal sources of the colorants in their foods. It has the potential for a paradigm shift. How about we just don't color the food, man? Like, I'm okay with not having any color. Like, just give me the stuff without the bugs in it. Or tell us there's, this is crazy, man. Many foods contain insects, including peanut butter. The FDA allows small pieces of insects in peanut butter as well as almond butter and other types of butter. Chocolate can become infested with insects during storage because they contain cocoa, tree nuts, and dried fruits. The FDA says that 125 grams of chocolate may contain 60 to 74 bug fragments. I hope you're enjoying your chocolate. Coffee, up to 10% of coffee beans can be infested with insects. 1 cup of coffee may contain almost 120 insect parts. The FDA allows up to 60 aphids per 100 grams of frozen broccoli. Ketchup can contain up to 30 fruit fly eggs per 100 grams. Canned corn can contain up to 2 insect larvae per 100 grams. Blueberries can contain up to 2 maggots per 100 berries. Curry powder can contain up to 100 insect fragments per 100 grams. Wheat, up to 1% of grains can be infested with insects. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. We're already eating the bugs. You won, Klaus Schwab. We are eating the bugs. Crazy. Another guy that's going crazy right now, Sean Diddy Combs, to stay in jail while appeals court takes up bail fight. A federal appeals court judge has ruled to keep Sean Diddy Combs locked up while he makes a third bid for bail in his trafficking case, which is slated to go on trial in May. In a decision filed Friday, Circuit Judge William J. Nardini denied the hip-hop mogul's immediate release from jail, while a 3-judge panel weighs his bail request. Combs' lawyers appealed to the Second U.S. District Court of Appeals on September 30th after 2 judges rejected his release. This is reported by AP News. I know there was another article about him I had up here. I just got to see if I could find it real quick, so bear with me. Something about Mike Tyson, but I guess I can't find it. So, you guys may remember Princess Diana. She died with a man named Dodi Al-Fayed. Well, billionaire ex-Harrods boss Mohammed Al-Fayed linked to 40 new abuse allegations. British police said on Friday they had recorded 40 new allegations linked to former Harrods department store owner Mohammed Al-Fayed following a BBC documentary in which victims accused the late businessman of physical abuse and you know what else, the R word. Egyptian billionaire Al-Fayed died last year at 94 after decades making newspaper headlines as one of the Britain's best-known businessmen. Detectives have received numerous pieces of information, predominantly relating to the activities of Mohammed Al-Fayed, but some relating to the actions of others. The new allegations relate to 40 victims and cover offenses including assault and the R word, by force, from 1979 to 2013. Why do these people wait till after he's dead? And these allegations started back in the 70s. I mean, I just, there's got to be some type of statute of limitations for this stuff. A dead man can't defend himself in court. It's easy to attack someone that's gone. I'm not saying he didn't, but 40, 50 years, really? Speaking of attacks, the desperate people of Gaza, United Nations says no food has entered northern Gaza since the start of October, putting 1 million people at risk of starvation. I guess that's how they're going to finish off the rest. They blew them up, and now they'll just starve the rest of them, I guess. No food has entered northern Gaza. In August, approximately 700 aid trucks entered northern Gaza. In September, only 400 aid trucks entered after commercial operations ceased at the Allenby crossing on the border between the occupied West Bank and Jordan. No food trucks have entered northern Gaza in October. On Wednesday, the WFP said in a report that the aid entering the Strip has plummeted to its lowest levels in months, forcing the organization to stop the distribution of food parcels in October. Hunger remains rampant and the threat of famine persists. If the flow of assistance does not resume, 1 million vulnerable people will be deprived on this lifeline. I mean, these are crimes, I'm sorry, crimes against humanity. Collective punishment. They leveled the place to the ground, okay? Like leveled it. I think I have a clip here to show you what kind of damage we're talking about. But in any event, the UN mission was hit again. I reported this the other day as Israel strikes Beirut, killing 22. Lebanon says the death toll from Israeli airstrikes on 2 buildings in central Beirut has risen to 22. Meanwhile, the UN has said its peacekeepers will stay in Lebanon following the injury of personnel. Axios reports Israel firing on UN peacekeepers in Lebanon raises international alarm. President Biden called on Israel to stop firing at UN peacekeepers in southern Lebanon. This is why the United Nations is a joke. One nation defying all these rules, these laws, even striking at UN workers, aid workers, journalists. Okay? I mean, why do they get a pass on all of this? There's a difference between being against people of that faith, of which many are my friends and I love you, and their government. And I'm sorry, I'm against them. The way they've handled their response, the amount of civilians that have lost their lives, as tragic as what happened to them on October 7th was. But to destroy multiple nations and basically have no law at all, international law, you're supposed to be the example of civilization, democracy, human rights, and you've lost the right to ever even say you are, because you're not. Sorry. Again, nothing against my brothers and sisters of that faith. One of my best friends, Neve, is Israeli. I love him with all my heart. He's one of my best friends. I would do anything for him. And I've had these talks with him, and I'm like, listen, I just don't agree with what your government's doing. And you know what? For the most part, he doesn't either, from what I could tell. California Senate passes controversial fuel reserves bill. California lawmakers in the state Senate approved a controversial bill requiring oil refineries to keep a minimum supply of fuel reserves to avoid future supply shortages and price hikes for consumers. Regulations being considered by California Air Board could dramatically raise gas prices. Californians are one step closer to getting the protections they need against big oil price spikes. I'm grateful to our partner in the Senate for helping to save Californians money at the pump. Price spikes cost consumers more than $2 billion last year, and we're taking action necessary to help put an end to this. Yeah, you have the worst gas prices in the country, bro. I never paid $9 for a gallon of gas until I went to California a couple of years ago. I couldn't fucking believe it. Nonetheless, that's why you see probably more Teslas than anywhere else in California. TikTok executives know about app's effects on teens, lawsuit documents allege. This is reported by NPR. For the first time, internal TikTok communications have been made public that show a company unconcerned with the harms the app poses for American teenagers. Keyword, American teenagers. From what I understand, their algorithm in China is very different. Shows kids things that make them smart and loyal to the party. And they make our kids do stupid things and dance and show off their bodies and do pranks and act like complete fucking imbeciles. By the way, follow me on TikTok at BEKLoverNYC. Roger Stone calls for armed guards at polling spots in a leaked video. Trump ally and election denier declares readiness to fight it out to ensure a Republican presidential victory. The longtime Donald Trump ally and friend Roger Stone said Republicans should send armed guards to the polls in November to ensure a Trump victory, according to video footage. Let's pull it up. Here we go.
So I just wanted to thank you again. I think we have a friend in common. Do you know Josh Standiford? We're working together on the Lion of Judah program with the app. Yeah. Oh, okay.
This is posted on X. Trump ally Roger Stone told us he wants to send armed guards to dispute the election in Detroit. He also wants to imprison former Attorney General Bill Barr if Trump returns to power. That would be really cool. Top Republicans demand answers as billions in FEMA relief are still going to COVID. Legitimate concern. Top Republican lawmakers sent a scathing letter demanding several facts and figures from FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell after discovering nearly half of a recent congressional appropriation for disaster relief was spent on non-hurricane related interest. The American people have legitimate concerns regarding the availability of FEMA funding to respond to these hurricanes and future events in the near term. FEMA is rapidly spending billions of the disaster relief fund on non-immediate needs, including billions in unnecessary funding for the C-19, which threatens to deplete the fund despite there being nearly 2 months left in hurricane season. He questioned the sheer amount of the funding going to the C-19 relief nearly 2 years after the official shutdown emergency ended. $1.2 billion has gone to the state of California alone. Crazy. No, the government didn't make a hurricane. Again, I spoke about this last episode. It's become main stage. Even the media's covering it or trying to cover it up if it's real. What do you think? You think they can manipulate the weather into hurricanes? Drop comments. I'd like to know. I think so. I lean towards it. Residents slogged through flooded streets, cleared debris after Hurricane Milton tore through Florida. All of my friends came out okay. There was quite a few deaths and a lot of damage in that storm. And they're going to need that FEMA money, you know? Have you ever been in a hurricane? I was in Hurricane Sandy. If you've ever been through a hurricane, drop a comment. I'd like to hear what you went through and what it was like. The new mayor of Mexico, this is after the last one, had his head chopped off after 6 days and put on public display by the cartels. New mayor was sworn in Thursday in a city in southern Mexico where his predecessor was killed and beheaded less than a week after taking office. Before he was killed, Arcos had told local media he needed more protection, but officials said no formal request had been received. State and federal governments can offer mayors. This new mayor is doing a salute that reminds me of a guy named Adolf in Germany. Very weird picture if you're watching right now in this episode. Dr. Dre. Ain't nothing but a gangster party. Sipping on gin and juice. Laid back with my mind on my money and my money on my mind. Dr. Dre is sued for $10 million by former therapist alleging unbearable harassment. The hip-hop icon, whose legal name is Andre Young, in turn contends that it was Dr. Charles Sophie who behaved unprofessionally. The hip-hop icon is being sued by his former marriage counselor and therapist on allegations of harassment, stalking, and threatening Sophie to the degree that the latter now allegedly refuses to leave his house without a bulletproof vest. In a complaint filed in LA Superior Court this week and obtained by Entertainment Weekly, Sophie's legal team asserts nobody, absolutely nobody, should ever be subjected to this type of abusive, tormenting conduct, especially when the person being subjected to those threats and unbearable harassment is the doctor who had worked diligently to help treat this individual. Yo, it's been a bad couple of years for hip-hop. Just, I guess such a negative music will have a negative ending to it. The way it's just like even all these icons everyone looked up to, it's just, what a dark time for hip-hop, man. Women jailed for life after murdering her parents and living with the bodies in Essex. What a sick world. Reported by The Guardian, the UK. Virginia McLeod, 36, kept bodies of her father and mother in the house for 4 years after their deaths. This is the moment Virginia is arrested and Mr. killing her parents.
Murder against Jonathan McCulloch and Lars McCulloch. Okay?
My dad's body's in there.
Right, okay.
Yep, okay. Obviously I'll
What about
say,
your mum?
a little bit more complicated. Upstairs there were about 5 wardrobes.
Yep.
I slipped spile of those into his drink. He only drank probably about half of 2. But yeah, when I went in the morning, this was before my mother. When I went in the morning, early hours, I got up about half an hour early, about 6 o'clock in the morning. Came in and he was gone. I did know that this would kind of come eventually. It's proper that I serve my punishment. Cheer up, at least you caught the bad guy.
What a sick, sick human being. What a sick, Sick human being. Virginia McLeod poisoned her father, John McLeod, 70, with prescription medication that she crushed and put into his alcoholic drinks. The prosecutor, Lisa Wilding, KC, told Chelmsford Crown Court she then murdered her mother, Lois McLeod, 71, the following day. The barrister said McLeod beat her mother with a hammer and stabbed her multiple times in the chest with a kitchen knife bought for the purpose. Both murders took place. So she beat her own mother with a hammer. Both murders took place in June 2019 at the couple's home in Great Badal, Essex, where the defendants continued to live with her parents' dead bodies for the next 4 years. Built a makeshift tomb for her father. The rectangular tomb was found in a room that had been Mr. McLeod's bedroom and study and was composed with masonry blocks stacked together. It was covered with multiple blankets and a number of pictures and paintings over the top. She concealed the body of her mother wrapped in a sleeping bag within a wardrobe in her mother's bedroom on the top floor. I mean, how did they not smell? Like, how did she live there, man? Here's a picture of her two parents. This is just, what a sick world we live in, man. Make sure you hit the sub button, guys and girls. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll keep you posted. This is another episode of Interesting Times with Beck Lover. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and thank you for all of your support. I really appreciate it. Till the next time, interesting times indeed, my friends.
Beck Lover.